Wishing you could get that curated high-end look, but it's a bit out of your range. In today's video, we're showing you how to achieve high-end designer home decor using nothing but thrifting finds and dollar store staples. We're taking luxury on a budget to the next level by recreating those viral, expensive pieces from stores like West Elm and Anthropologie for a fraction of the price. Whether it's a simple coat of spray paint, some DIY texture paste, or a lucky thrift store score, you won't believe how easy it is to save 95% or more while still having a home that looks like $1,000,000. To recreate this interlocking chain link decor for approximately $6, you will need to gather several supplies, most of which can be found at a dollar store. You will need roughly 3 to 4 packs of white polymer oven bake clay, like Sculpey, a metal or glass baking dish, matte black spray paint, matte clear spray sealant, a pair of scissors or a crafting knife, and a small piece of fine grit sandpaper. To make this elegant decor piece, start by rolling out the white polymer clay into 3 thick, even snakes, aiming for about 1 to 1.5 inches in diameter and about 12 inches long, making sure the ends are cleanly cut. Take the first snake and form a continuous circle, overlapping the ends. Press and smooth the seam with your fingers and a tiny drop of water until it is seamless. Form the second snake into a circle and link it through the first circle before sealing its own ends in the same seamless manner. Repeat this linking process with the third snake, carefully interlocking it with both of the already joined rings before sealing it into a circle, creating a tight 3-ring chain cluster. Once all links are seamless, place the assembly onto a baking sheet and bake according to the polymer clay package directions, usually about 15 minutes per 1/4 inch of thickness at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. After the piece has completely cooled and hardened, lightly sand any imperfections or remaining seams with the fine grit sandpaper. In a well-ventilated area, place the chain structure on a drop cloth and apply multiple light, even coats of matte black spray paint, allowing it to dry between each coat. Once the black paint is dry, apply a final light coat of matte clear sealant to protect the finish and complete your sophisticated $6 handmade dupe. To recreate this concrete-style succulent planter, you will need a large, smooth plastic bowl. Check thrift stores first. A bottle of light gray acrylic paint, a bottle of dark gray paint, matte Mod Podge, fine sand, various faux succulent picks, and dried floral moss. Begin by thoroughly cleaning and drying your plastic bowl. To create the textured finish, apply a thick coat of light gray paint mixed with a generous amount of fine sand to the entire exterior of the bowl, allowing it to dry completely. Apply a second coat if needed for extra coverage and texture. Once dry, create depth by lightly dabbing on small amounts of the darker gray paint with a paper towel or sponge, the pounce method, focusing on lower areas and under the rim to create a faux, aged concrete look. Finish the exterior with a protective coat of matte Mod Podge and let it dry. When you are ready to assemble, fill the bowl with a base material like crumpled newspaper or floral foam to within 2 inches of the top, then cover it completely with a layer of the dried moss. Arrange your faux succulents, starting with the largest in the center and filling in it, securing them into the base material. To create your own DIY travertine-style sculpture for a fraction of the high-end price, you will need a few basic crafting materials: aluminum armature wire or recycled cardboard for the internal structure, aluminum foil to build volume, masking tape, paper clay or air-dry clay, and textured stone effect spray paint, or a mix of beige acrylic paint and baking soda. Start by bending your wire or cutting cardboard strips to form the basic S-curves and organic loops seen in the original piece, securing the joints with masking tape to ensure the frame is sturdy. Once the skeleton is complete, Wrap crumpled aluminum foil around the frame to build up the thickness of the petals, using more tape to smooth out any sharp edges and create that fluid, heavy look. Next, apply a thin, even layer of paper clay over the entire foil surface, smoothing it with a bit of water on your fingertips to bridge the gaps while maintaining the hand-sculpted organic texture. After the clay has dried completely, which may take 24 to 48 hours depending on the thickness, finish the piece by applying several light coats of the textured stone spray paint to mimic the porous, earthy look of real travertine stone. To craft this minimalist, arched wall shelf that captures the aesthetic of the high-end design, you will need a few key supplies: an arched wooden shape, such as a large rounded plaque or a thin sheet of plywood cut into an oval, a rectangular piece of wood for the shelf, marble contact paper, gold or brass-toned paint, small brass shelf brackets, a strong adhesive like E6000 or wood glue, and small screws for assembly and mounting. Start by preparing your main arched back piece. If you are able to find a suitable plaque or cutting board, paint it in a warm, natural wood tone and let it dry. Next, take the rectangular piece of wood that will serve as the shelf and carefully wrap it with the marble contact paper, smoothing out any air bubbles for a seamless finish. Once the shelf is ready, apply adhesive to the edge of the shelf that will connect to the back piece and reinforce this connection using the small brass brackets and screws from underneath. To complete the look, paint any visible screw heads gold to match. The final step is to mount your new handmade shelf securely to the wall, making sure to hit studs or use appropriate anchors to support its weight. To create this French-style sunburst wall medallion, you will need the following materials: wood paint stir sticks, roughly 40 to 50, potentially available for free or low cost at home improvement stores; a circular base, such as a sturdy cardboard cutout, a foam board circle, or a thin wood plaque; a decorative centerpiece, like a lightweight plastic rosette or an ornate cabinet knob; metallic gold spray paint, and a strong adhesive or hot glue gun. To assemble the piece, start by finding the exact center of your circular base. Arrange the stir sticks around the perimeter of the base, gluing them down like rays. For a dynamic look, use sticks of slightly varying lengths or alternate longer and shorter ones. For full coverage and a dimensional effect, glue a second layer of sticks, positioning them so they cover the gaps between the sticks in the first layer. Once the structure is stable, spray the entire assembly with metallic gold paint to achieve a uniform, antique finish. After the paint dries completely, glue the decorative rosette to the central point where the sticks meet. For added depth, you can lightly brush on a darker shade of paint to highlight the contours. Finally, attach a heavy-duty hanger to the back to display your work. To craft this wire cloche dupe, you will need a round wooden tray or slice, a wire basket or mesh, a wooden knob or finial, and some decorative wooden beads. Start by securing the wooden beads around the perimeter of the wooden base using strong glue. Then, attach the knob or finial to the center of the cloche. If needed, spray paint the mesh dome for your desired finish and apply a wood stain to the base to complete the look. For a visually similar effect, you could follow the steps to create a decorative cloche. First, glue a string of wooden beads around the edge of a round wooden base. Next, center a wire mesh basket on the base. Finally, affix a decorative finial to the top of the basket. To create this French country-style architectural corbel dupe, you will need a few simple materials: a plain wooden or high-density foam corbel, often found at hardware stores or thrifted; decorative wooden or resin floral appliques; wood glue; off-white or cream chalk paint; a darker antique colored glaze or wax; a few small paintbrushes; and some fine grit sandpaper. To make it, start by cleaning and sanding your corbel to create a smooth surface, Then use the wood glue to securely attach the decorative floral appliques to the front and side faces of the corbel, creating your desired ornate pattern. Allow the glue to dry completely before applying a solid base coat of the off-white chalk paint over the entire piece, ensuring you get into all the crevices. Once that coat is dry, lightly apply the dark antique glaze or wax, focusing on the deep recesses and carvings. Quickly wipe away the excess glaze with a clean cloth to leave the dark color only in the details, which emphasizes the carved look. Finally, after the glaze has dried, you can gently sand the edges and raised surfaces of the applique and corbel to distress it further and reveal glimpses of the base color, giving the piece that authentic, time-worn French cottage appeal. To recreate this bienvenue wall medallion, you'll need a round wooden placard or pizza pan, decorative plastic or wooden furniture appliques, chalk or acrylic paint, in cream, gray, and gold, a distress medium or antiquing wax, high-quality glue, sandpaper, a fine point brush or text stencil, and painter's tape. Begin by sanding your base placard to ensure a smooth, clean surface for your paint to adhere to. Arrange your selected furniture appliques in a symmetrical, intricate design that mimics the French country look, and, once you are happy with the layout, glue them securely in place. Paint the entire piece with a base coat, such as cream or light gray, and let it dry completely. Once the base is dry, apply your contrasting paint colors using a dry brush technique, or by applying a second coat and sanding it back in areas to create a weathered, distressed finish. You can enhance the depth by applying antiquing wax or a watered-down darker paint into the crevices of the appliques. Finally, carefully hand paint or stencil the word bienvenue in the center with a fine brush or a stencil, and apply a matte sealant to protect your work and finish the high-end dupe. Wishing you could get that curated high-end look, but it's a bit out of your range? In today's video, we're showing you how to achieve high-end designer home decor using nothing but thrifting finds and dollar store staples. We're taking luxury on a budget to the next level by recreating those viral, expensive pieces from stores like West Elm and Anthropologie for a fraction of the price. Whether it's a simple coat of spray paint, some DIY texture paste, or a lucky thrift store score, you won't believe how easy it is to save 95% or more while still having a home that looks like $1 million.